Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, evening.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Welcome, Mr. Chen Gongzi and Mr. Richard Chong. Okay, can you switch on your webcam so everyone can see your face?
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, Eamon.
All right. So, very good afternoon. I bid to all members of Pspjs as well as the speakers today. So, welcome to Pspj monthly meeting for July 2021. So, as usual, this meeting is conducted online due to the situation of the pandemic that we are still in now. So, first and foremost, let me give a brief rundown of our meeting agenda today. So, first, we will have our guest speaker, Mr. Chen Guangzi, to talk about a give back project. And next we have Richard Chong from Olympus to give a tutorial on bird photography. So without further ado, let's start the meeting now. Right, for the first agenda of the day, we have guest speaker, Mr. Chen Guangzi, to talk about a give back project. So in this session, he will take us to the streets in Kuala Lumpur as he shares his stories photographing life through his lenses, and he shares the joy of street photography with his subjects by giving them prints of their photos. So let's welcome Gongzi. The floor is yours.
Hello, let me share my screen. Okay. Hi, my name is Gongzi, and I am here to present my project called a Give Back Project. So let me talk a bit about myself. So my name is Gongzi, or you can call me James. I am 20 years old this year. I'm still a college student majoring in diploma in broadcasting and film, and I'm currently exploring all kinds of photography. So what I usually do is actually more on videography, but most of the times I will do street photography as well and some documentary photography. So let's start with back in 2019. So back in 2019, I went out to Petaling Street, like almost end of the year. When I go out, I was trying to test like the 50 mm, and this is the first time that when I went to street photography, there was a bunch of people engaged at me, surrounding me, and saying, "Why are you taking my photo?" And it's the people who are setting up shop in Petaling Street. Last time, or usually, I won't get like this kind of aggressiveness. Usually, it's like just, "Oh, please delete my photo. Please, don't take my photo." Something like this, like something quite normal lah. Nothing so aggressive until they will start surrounding you and try to. What happened was they actually tried to take away my camera and threatened to smash it just because I took one of their photos. And that was a first for me. And so what I found out is a lot of people started going Petaling Street at the end of 2019 also, got this kind of like threaten to photographers as say that please don't take my photo or we will do something to you. There's a lot of stories in Petaling Street and all those, like people don't want their photos taken, and that is understandable. As a street photographer, we want to respect them, but not as aggressive as this. So it got me thinking what to do to change their mindset. So not Petaling Street happened like that, and when I was in Pasar Karat, things are still more chill than Petaling Street apparently, even though Pasar Karat is more known to be more violent, or they will say, photographers, take care of your camera, take care of your belongings, they will steal your stuff. But apparently when I go there, it was more chill than Petaling Street itself. And these are the places where a lot of seafoods and street photographers will go there and take, and why suddenly like they was turned aggressive to us. And basically it got me thinking, and I'll find a few ways how to actually try to change the mindset of people over there from aggressive photographers, or maybe because of the amount of new street photographers out there who are disrespecting them. And I just want to change that mindset that not all street photographers are bad. So what I thought of is to why not give them a print. So that thought started in the mind, and then I started to research on what's the best way to give back a print. And we started this story. This is in 2019 Pasakara. This when before the pandemic happens, and I was testing the 50mm f1.2, and so because of 2019, because it happened in end of 2019, and I wanted to try to start this project of printing out and give back during early 2020. The problem is I just started college, and I want to, settle down in college first, and then only go out. But when sem break starts and when I can go out, that's when the pandemic starts, and we are forced to stay at home. So instead, the project had started quite late, and basically the first print I print out was during July, and started to give back. But the first few times I give back to the people, it was success, and is in a say that they actually appreciate the prints. And because some of them like see them is during the time where nobody needs to wear a mask, and they all say like, wow, you actually tracked me down in Petaling Street to give me back a print. So this was one of the big video that I started taking just to document their reaction when they take, because the previous time I did not think of document their reaction, just giving back only. But this is the first video that I took to record their reaction. And so let me play the video. Okay. Yeah. As you can see, like after this, like, say thank you, and he started giving some comments on the picture, and he said he liked it. So that started out, and I tried to showcase to like the audience what is the picture about, what's this project about, and why am I documenting all this, which is the reason of Petaling Street are getting more modernized, and like the sense of the olden day kind of Petaling Street is almost no longer there. My current project is to take a picture of them where they still have the sense of the olden times, print it out, and give back the memory that I took of them. As I don't want to, like, as photographers, we don't want to take advantage of people. That's why I tried to document the last remaining moments before the modernization of Petaling Street. And how do I showcase this? So what I did was I created a new Instagram account, and that's where I started. On the left, you can see where I show the picture that I took. And of course, you can see that there are some details at the bottom. And on the right, or on Instagram app, you swipe to the right, you can see the video of the reaction itself. So moving on, after the 2019, and when the pandemic was much better, I joined a Sony Masterclass, and that Sony Masterclass was like about street photography and portraits and stuff. So I tried to use their A7R4 with a 2470. So that's why you can see the color change as well as like because it's full frame, and basically the picture and the color is a bit different lah. So that was during 15 August 2020. And so this is one of the picture I took. And so this is the reaction.
For you. Bagaimana? Ah.
As you can see, the smile of when they receive the photo is just priceless. No, because how many photographers have been there? How many people or photographers, or how is their day? We have no idea. But a random stranger suddenly just approach them and give back a photo, a memory of them. You know, it shows a whole different story. It could make their day, and you can see this woman straight away just smiles. You know, same as this uncle who just want to try to capture the scene of still during the pandemic where RMCO and it's more relaxed, that people are still going to Pasar Karat to actually, you know, buy stuff and look at stuff, even though it's during a pandemic. And this is when I give back the reaction.
Yeah, for you. For me? Yes.
As you can see, just the reaction, you know, like saw the picture, and then of course after seeing the picture, letting the friends to see, oh, look at this picture, is so nice and this and that. And of course, if you see the first few prints, I just printed the my contact details at the back, just you know, like advertisement. But I stopped doing that already after a few times. So the next picture, right, is this picture where this is not planned. This is not I did not ask him to give a thumbs up or anything. This is his natural reaction of showing a thumbs up. So I went to Pasar Karat, just use the camera, just point it down, take a picture, take it back up, and then there he is, just a natural thumbs up pose. And when I give back the picture, same reaction. And that shows some people over there are not shy to photographers and still are quite friendly to photographers, rather than the stereo norm of people saying that Pasar Karat is a very dangerous. It's still a dangerous place, but they are not friendly to photographers and others. So the next photo is, I try to document this old kind of style of this auntie having a store in the middle of Pasar Karat, trying to make some beverages. And this is the reaction. As you can see, she's so busy. There's people calling her, and she still like look at me and still, like, you know, look at the photos and still give a smile. And this is one of the sweetest video I ever see. And a lot of other people also say that this auntie's laugh and smile is just very sweet. And from what I know, that this particular video, it got the attention of Sony Alpha Guru, which is the one of the Alpha Guru that took us during the masterclass. And then she basically shared it on her story, and Sony Malaysia reshare her story on Sony Malaysia Instagram page as well during Merdeka Day. So of course, after 15 August, it's not going to be a one-time thing. And basically on the 26th August, while I'm giving back a print, I also took this photo of this uncle. This uncle's story will be, I was giving back a print to the first uncle, the first video that you saw, and he basically was saying the picture that the uncle is very nice, and he started pulling me to his store and trying to showcase everything. And then I say, why not let me document like what you are selling, which are all these knickknacks over there, And basically he wasn't he was trying to get ready, and I just snapped this photo when the shine was there, because when he got ready already, the shine wasn't there anymore. So it was just that split second of the shutter. And this was the reaction.
Uncle, remember me? Yeah, nah, for you. Yeah lah, cahaya nice mah. Sunlight.
Another story of this uncle is when the first time I tried to take, first few times when I go to Petaling Street and I want to take his photo, he basically asked me to get lost. But after that print that I give back, he's more open, And this another person over there during another shoot, and basically this is reaction.
Uncle.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can hear the last part, like, you boleh tolong saya, So what happened was, because I've been there for a few times, he basically brought his camera every single day just to see when I will show up. And he having a Nikon camera, and his Nikon camera have some problems. So he asked me whether do I know how to fix it. Unfortunately, there are some internal issues. So I have and the battery, there's something wrong with the battery as well. So I asked him to bring to Nikon to fix it. But you never know what will happen after you started to engage with them. You start to make friends, and they start to build a trust with you. And out of nowhere, like, this uncle just bring out his camera and ask me like, "Yo, okay, do you know how to fix this?" So this is much more this after August, where I started giving back this print as well. This is at Kopi Lai Fong, the famous coffee shop in Petaling Street. Of course, you can till now, every time I give back a print, you can see just the smile, just lights up. Same with this Mochi auntie, where we know she's very popular inside Petaling Street. That her age is very old, so it's worthwhile to actually try to document her before, like, she's gone, or even the card is gone, And so the next photo, it's this during 2020 November. That's during the time where the cases are rising again. But this was unintentional when I took this photo, because it was for a college photography assignment. But instead, I also put this as one of my gift back project.
Uncle，给你了，那天我拍，两个都会给你的没关系。好的。
And then what happened was, there was a conversation with with an auntie there, and upon that pancake, after he like finished cooking, he basically gave me and a friend free slices, just as an appreciation gift. I tried to pay back, he don't, and he say like, "You help me capture this moment," and give me back a print rather than just showing me and just go away. So this is something I can do for you, which is just giving you 2 slices of the pancake. That's the least he can do, he said. So as you know, Pasar Karat is still quite a shady place, so especially those people towards the end of Pasar Karat. They are still the shady kind. So this was behind Pasar Karat. This was the shady place. If they see me, they will scold me definitely. But I tried to get this candid shot of the environment of this uncle just looking at his store while selling all of this, just seeing people pass by. And when I managed to go back, he is quite how to say, he basically looks at me with me and a friend with a camera and like start to be aggressive, but instead, after giving a print, after knowing what's your objective or what some of our photographers' objective is, just to try to capture the moment, try to do street photography, try to document a memory, a moment during that time. And when they receive, they surely will be, happy about it. Of course, it's not only Pasar Karat or Petaling Street. I also went to the wet market and the main Petaling Street itself. These few pictures I'm showing, I don't have the reaction because either I don't have the time to take out my phone because I maybe was texting back something, or I did not have my phone ready, or basically they are not there and I have to pass to someone else, like this uncle at the toy store. I have to pass to his colleague and put it on his table instead because he's not there. And like this uncle, he is no longer at Pasar Karat. He moved his base to Pudu. So his friends, which is going to be this group of people, they basically helped me to pass back the piece of print. This group of people have an interesting story. The first time when I do this project, there's only this uncle, which is the beige shirt with the blue hat, allowed me to take photo. And when all the other friends here started to question him on why are you treating photographers so good, he basically said this: look at this young guy here. He's studying photography, so let him practice. And after a while, I go back a few times. He will see me, he will say hi, and I managed to have a conversation with them. And this is what I found out. They are scared that photographers going to Petaling Street or Pasar Karat to take their photo and try to report to authorities or publish on newspaper without their knowledge. And they don't like it. And apparently it happened before. That's why they're so aggressive. But once you make friends and more open up, you can get inside stories like this. And basically, it comes to the end of my presentation. So what you can do to support is to go to Instagram to give a follow if you want to know more about the project, on what other photos that I took, or you can follow my personal Instagram account, which is the bottom one. My project is basically currently is to document the last the owners in around KL or around Malaysia, and basically based on modernization, a lot of these things you won't see in the future. So these are the last few moments that you can go out and take. And with the current pandemic, right, it's even harder because stores in Petaling Street, as you can see, are closing down. They are making way for new cafes. And basically, some like the Apom guy, Apom uncle, he actually told me this. He's earning 30% of what he used to. And he, with the pandemic still continuing like this, he would not know how long he can survive. So these are kind of stories that you are able to get. And and as you can hear, he don't know how long he can survive. Means maybe after MCO 3.0, you won't see him anymore, you know. So I feel that as photographers, we try not to take advantage and just take a photo, keep it for ourselves, put in a drive, and and you never see it again or you delete it. And why I give back a physical print is not only to give back a memory to them, but also letting them have a memory for themselves that they have been selling in Petaling Street, and it could be passed down the moment to their kids or someone else, just showing the memory. And a physical print will mean much more, plus it will last longer instead of a digital. And plus, most of them don't have a smartphone, or they don't want to share their contact details with you and for you to send them a copy. And that's why I started this project. With modernization coming along, I have tried to conclude the Petaling Street series, and I am going to expand it to other places. Let's say to Chowkit or Pudu or somewhere else. If you ask me one thing I've learned during this, like what is the aspect can improve in this project, is basically a portable printer. Because I'm a student right now, I don't really have the money to invest in a portable printer. So what I do is I go out and bring it home, edit myself. I have a printer at home, and I print using that. Go back out and track them down again. Hard work. So probably if I want to continue this project, I'll have to buy a portable printer. But of course, currently, it's not my main goal because of the current situation, and I'm still a college student, so money also an issue. So yes, this is my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chen. Thank you, Chen, for your kind sharing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you for your great street photo sharing.
Thank you.
It's good to have a lot of young photographer like you to come to join Pspj for the sharing.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I believe a lot of young photographers are willing to share their photo as well and their works. Yeah. I hope if any young photographers or any photographers you are interested to join Pspj for the monthly meeting and share your works, you are welcome to contact any committees from Pspj. So I think okay, let me do something first. So Edmund.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Hongzhi. It's a very meaningful sharing, and we can see how photographers actually connect with the community and with the subjects, especially during street photography. I'm sure that many people starting on street photography will face the same problem as you had. Because the people there, they don't know what we are actually doing, and they might be very unfriendly. So yeah, it's a very good way to break the ice between us and those people that we are photographing.
This is a good experience sharing from you.
Yeah, from the comments, I can see there are quite a lot of supportive comments. With some members saying, Raja Indra Putras saying that it's very inspiring and from a young photographer. Well done. And Muhammad Aziman, he said, yeah, that's the way.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So, any questions?
So far, I didn't see any questions. Let me check the YouTube site. Okay, no question. No question from YouTube site. So for audience, if you want to watch a higher resolution video for this live stream, you can click on the link in the description. Then you can go to YouTube to watch a higher resolution full HD video. This is just a highlight. And okay, so Kunzi, we are okay. Thank you for your journey today. So
Thank you very much.
So Edmund, we proceed.
Right. So thank you, Gonzo, for the wonderful sharing. Next, we have Mr. Richard Chong on his tutorial on bird photography. So in this session, he will share with us on how to take photos of birds. And just a note, Mr. Richard Chong is recently appointed as an Olympus visionary and photographer instructor by Olympus Malaysia. And yeah, let's welcome Richard. You may start the session now.
Hi, Richard. Hi. Say hi to all audience. Hi.
Hi, Richard.
Let me share my screen now. All right, hope you all can see the screen. Okay, just a little bit about myself. Actually, the Olympus visionary photographer appointed by OMB Imaging World. No longer Olympus Malaysia, because Olympus Malaysia is worldwide sold off the ownership of the brand to JIP. So in Malaysia, it's now currently represented by OMD Imaging World, which actually the parent company is actually Wild Camera, right? So I was appointed this year by them in April. But previously I was appointed by Olympus Malaysia. So this year, starting on from this year, is by the OMD Imaging World, right? But basically myself, I'm not an employee of OMD, but I'm actually having my own business. I do large format printing. My journey into photography for the birds actually started only about 2.5 years back. So I'm going to share with you about some of the knowledge that I have, how I acquired. But basically all my gears are from Olympus, right? Now about bird photography. Basically bird photography, especially wild bird photography. We're not talking about photography in bird parks or in the house garden or things like that. But basically we're talking about bird photography in the forest. It's actually one of the more challenging genre of photography. And that's because the bird doesn't wait for you. It comes and you go. Of course, sometimes they'll perch for a moment or so. That's where you take the shot, right? Camera gear is actually very important. So is the lighting, exposure, and also post-processing actually plays a very important part in wild bird photography. I basically will cover these four area: camera gears, lighting and exposure, how to take the shot, and then about post-processing. Post-processing I won't show much, but it's basically to let you know the workflow. Before I start, I'll just show you some of the photos that I've taken. And this is one of the earliest photo I've taken that actually got featured in Net Geo on their blogs for the top 25 birds, the wild birds. Here's another one. This is the red biscuit boo-boo, by the way. Just now, the previous one was the black and yellow broadbill. This is the gray-breasted spider hunter. And this is the Diat trogon. All these photos are taken in Malaysia. Right. This is the crested pigeon. It was taken in Australia when I was there for holiday to attend my godson's wedding. This is a horsebill babbler. This is the lace woodpecker. This is the rainbow lorikeet. And this is the mugi-maki flycatcher. Now this bird is this particular one is a migratory bird from Japan. It comes from Japan. Right, for the camera gears, now it's important to get a system that actually gives you the image quality that you want and suitable for your age, right? Because it's no point getting a camera that's very expensive, but it's not the image that you want. You can be a very cheap system. Because I know like a few people that's in the friends that they actually I would say they actually bought quite a cheap system. I think it's Nikon P900, and then one of them called Nikon P950. It's a very cheap system. But of course the image quality is not as good. But that's what they want. They just want to document the bird. They just want to capture the bird, and they're happy with it. And that's one particular one. He was also using the P900, but eventually I noticed his photo changed, quality changed. Then I private messaged him. I said, Yong, have you changed your camera system? He said, yeah. He has now changed the full frame, and his quality of the image has improved tremendously. But then, as I said, that because he felt that he wanted a better image quality, that's why he switched the system. So just get one that give you what you want, what you want to do. If you just to capture the moments and just want to see it and record it, then okay, even cheaper system. But you want a better quality image quality, then of course you have to get a better one, and one that's also suitable for your age. Now we are not young anymore. For myself, I'm actually already 61. If you are younger, you can carry big cameras with big lens, carry on a tripod, well and fine. But if you're on a more senior age, I think carrying heavy gear and with a tripod, especially moving about in the forest, I think is a bit difficult. It won't be able to last very long in a photo shoot, right? So get a gear that's suitable for your age, that you can able to carry with you, so they can still have a very long time shooting. Right? Now in bird photography, lens plays a very important role, right? It allows you to shoot the bird that you want. Why I say so is because, for instance, this bird is called Rufous picolet. This is I think it's the world's smallest woodpecker. Is I think rated at about 2-inch to 3-inch the size. This particular bird I shot it in Chongka in Pulau Langat. I think it's just about the size, slightly bigger than my thumb. It's a very, very small bird. Imagine I'm shooting this bird with 600 mm, and I crop 50%. So the bird actually in the frame is very small. Can you imagine there was another birder who was with us, and he was actually trying to shoot and capture this bird with 100 mm lens and shooting on full frame. And it's just impossible. It's impossible to capture the image. And when all of us has got an image, but he couldn't get. He was trying to approach the bird closer, because 100 mm I think is nearby. For me, I'm shooting at 600 mm for micro four third. 25 mm equivalent is actually 1,200 mm. Now, can you imagine he's shooting full frame at 100 mm? I think that is almost impossible to get a bird. And this bird is so tiny and it's so far away. So lens is very important. To get the appropriate lens, to shoot, especially wild bird, you have to get a very long lens, right? Definitely not possible with 100 mm. And then this bird is called the long-tailed broadbill. It came just right in front of me. I think just about 6 feet, maybe 7 feet away, right? Now the reason why I show this is because you need to get a lens that has got a very close focusing distance. All right. If you have a lens, some of the lens that has got the minimum focusing distance, I think it's about 4 meter, maybe 5 meter away, you would have got this shot. Because when the bird fly in, something is close to you, it's 4 5 feet away, or maybe 6 feet, 7 feet. If yours is a 4 meter, 5 meter, or even 6 meter closest focus distance, you cannot get this shot. You will be out focus. Yeah, you just cannot focus. So for the Olympus lens, our closest focusing distance is 1.3 to 1.4, right? No matter what is the focal length, you when you add the multiplier, the focusing distance is still the same, 1.3, 1.4. So it's very close. We can close as 5 feet. Yeah, so that's available you to get the shot. Same for this one. We were actually in, this is the short-tailed babbler. We're actually in Lanchang in Pahang. There's a hike there built by some people, and it's actually a blind. You know, there's a blind. In the blind, there's holes so that we can watch the bird. Now suddenly, this bird came to one of the holes. Actually, it's on about 5 feet away for me, and it came to observe us in return. So what I did was I put my head through the hole, and I put my camera. I took a reverse shot, and I got this shot because my camera allows me that close focusing distance, so I was able to capture it. And the other thing is to get a system that allows you to be able to track the bird. Previously, I used to shoot on a single shot and single focus. That means I have to actually manually locate the bird, the bird eye, especially the bird eye, locate the bird eye with my focus to capture a shot. But now with my newer system, they have got a firmware upgraded, and then it has got a bird tracking. What happens is that the camera will track the bird. Once you can locate, they will locate to the body. You zoom into the head, and then ultimately zoom into the eye. Right. This bird is actually green bobbill. He is actually among the tree, among the leaves, and very difficult to see because it's green. The foliage it's also all green, but the camera is able to track it, locate it, and then I took a shot. Right. So get a system that if you are slow in focusing, mean to move the cursor to focus, then you get a system that helps you to auto track. This is another bird. This is the green-billed macaw. Now the macaws are well known to be very skittish, and they are seldom in the open. They seldom come out to the open. They always hide among the leaves, hide amongst the tree. So I was fortunate when this bird came, and it was in the open for a short while. And with the camera tracking, it was able to track it, locate the eye, and then I took a shot. Same for this. It flew to another perch. It was open, very open. And also, okay, the other thing is I was fortunate that I was shooting with my new system, new lens. This is actually a telephoto zoom. It was 100 by 450. I saw 150 by 400 mm. So if I was shooting with my previous prime lens 300 mm, I wouldn't have got this full body frame because the bird was I think about not more than 10 feet away. And if a prime, I think I will have probably half the body. So with the telephoto zoom, I was able to zoom out and then capture it in full body. Also with the same bird eye tracking, and the system just capture it. The other thing is it's important to get the lighting and exposure right. When I say lighting, also it's important to catch the light in the eye of the bird, and then you have to expose it correctly because we are in the forest. Normally it's quite dark, yeah. So you need to expose correctly. If you don't expose correctly, then you have problem. So I would suggest when you're in the forest, you should be your histogram on. look for the right side, which is actually the shadow, and so the left side shadow and the right side is the highlight. Try not to clip both edge. You try to frame the histogram within the two edge as much as possible. Now this is the red-bearded bee eater. You can see over here, right? The eye is actually in the shadow. All right, although it's nicely exposed, but the eyes and shadow, it didn't quite catch the light. But nevertheless, because I able to expose it, within the histogram, I'll be able to bring back some amount of details. Like over here, these are the shadows. We can still bring back the details in the post processing. Now this bird is the puff-throated babbler. Babblers are well known to be very fast. Some of them call them ping pong bird. All right, they jump about non-stop. And so this photo was taken early in the morning, 6:50 a.m. if I'm not mistaken, and it was in the foliage with a thick canopy. All right, so the photo is actually quite dark. Right, I'll show you the next photo. This is how the photo is actually taken. It's quite dark, 6:50 a.m. In the forest. So I have to bump up the ISO to 640, 6,400 wide open, and my shutter speed is only 1050. But you notice that I still able to catch the light. There was a very tiny window of the canopy, the light came on. So yeah, you see, even in the without processing this from camera, you can still see that the light is caught. So it's very important to catch that. And also I expose it in such that again within histogram. So in post processing, I will recover the details. You can see the details is still excellent, even though at 6,400 ISO. Detail is excellent. The eye is clear, so everything is sharp. 150 is pretty okay to catch the bird, all right, because this is a very hyperactive bird. Another thing I say the exposure, why I say expose it between the histogram is because some birds are black. Some birds are just black. Like this bird is actually a lot of blacks, right? If you don't expose it within the histogram, you probably can get the eye very clear. Maybe the white feather here is okay. But this part, the rest of the neck here, you won't get a very good exposure. I mean, you won't see details. You'll be probably all smudged up. So in post-processing, we can able to bring back the details because the shadow is not clipped, right? The left side shadow is not clipped. So we're able to bring back the shadow, the details. Right? This is the white rum shama. It was taken in Bukit Tinggi in Pahang. Now, how to take the shot? It's important. You have to be patient to wait for the moment. All right. All my shot, most of them are actually very low shutter. I try to go as low as I can so that I can lower the ISO as much as I can. My base setting for my shooting is always the ISO is fixed at 1600. That's my base setting. All right. The shutter will be wide open depending on the lens and whether I'm using multiplier or not. Right. I will adjust and then I will compensate it with either underexpose it or overexpose it to get the right speed to expose the bird. Of course, watching the histogram all the while. Right. So I have to be patient. Wait for the bird. The bird will, although they are always moving, right? When the bird first land on a perch, right? Especially forest bird, you will notice that the bird will look up, look left, look right, look bottom. You know why it does that? It's because they are looking for predator, whether they are predator around, whether there are dangers around. Like sometimes they are just looking up and down or looking for food, right? So that normally that's what they'll do. They will move out, but there will be a moment where they will just pause, right? They will just pause, maybe for half a second or a second, right? That's where you actually take the shot, right? So while waiting for that, you actually continue to train the focus, right? For me, I actually continue to tap I can only tap the shutter to train my focus so that my focus is being kept on the bird. And I waited for the moment. So the moment the bird paused, that's where I press the shutter and capture the moment. So remember to train the focus on the eye. Very important if you are doing a single autofocus. But if you're using the tracking, like this one was a system that have Sony, I'm not too sure about Canon and Nikon, I think they might probably have already. Then you can track and focus on the eye. Continue tap it, take a shot. By the way, I don't do burst shot. I don't do the burst mode. I do single shot. So every shot that's taken is the single moment that it was captured while I waited for it. Now, sometimes you have to brace yourself against a tree, especially if you're shooting a very long focal length. For my system, I'm able to go as long as 1000 mm in Micro Four Thirds. We're talking about 35 mm equivalent is 2000 mm. So it's very long. So every single movement will translate into a greater movement in the rest. Although the system stabilization will help you to stabilize the lens, but because we are not stable, right? We are stable, so the whatever move shape, it will translate a bit more towards the end of the focal length. So if you find that happening, so brace yourself against a tree if you can find a tree. If not, then the squat if you need to, if the bird is lower, or widen your stance, make yourself more stable. Or you can use one leg in front, one leg at the back to stable yourself. So whichever that give you stability, right? The other thing is do not approach the bird directly. Why I say that is because the birds already, as I say, when they land on the perch, they will look up, down, left, right to look for a predator. Now, if you see the bird, then you get excited and you rush towards the bird in a very quick movement, and straight towards the bird, right? Then you frighten the bird. The bird will fly away, and you will not get a shot, right? So what I will suggest you do is that, let's say, well, this is the bird, right? And this is you. So if you see the bird, right, you do not go straight to the bird, right? Move straight in front. What you need to do is you do diagonally, but you can be actually closer diagonally. So closer, right? So that you can get a closer shot, right? So that was my suggestion. So that you when you walk diagonally across, right, to get the angle, to get the one, you must try to keep the eye at the corner of your eye. Look for bird. Don't face the bird and walk. If you face the bird and walk, the bird will notice. They will also be frightened because they know that someone is trying to get very close, right? So look at the corner of the eye and walk sideways to get the angle, or as you look sideways, you can move slightly closer. All the time, hold your camera to yourself, and then slowly, gradually bring up. Don't immediately bring it up right away, especially when the bird is close and you want to get very close. Don't bring it. Basically, do not have a sudden movement. Just do it gradually, very slowly, right? This is one of the bird it's a rufous back kingfisher, right? I'm able to get quite close to the bird. So wait for the moment. This particular bird, kingfisher, if you ever come across this bird or any kingfisher, all right, for that matter, you notice that they will bob. When they are on a perch, they will bob. They will bob the head. Now, the reason why they do that, actually, they are trying to gauge the distance from where they are to the fish that's in the pond. So they will need to know, pinpoint the location. So that's why they bob. They're trying to pinpoint the location and the distance, so that when they dive, they're able to get a bird. So when they bob, right, they will also pause. They will bob and then they'll pause. So that's where you take the shot. As I say, continue train the focus on the eye. Once they stop bobbing, right, that's the moment you take the shot. Right, as I say, take a time, wait for it. When this bird had got a prey, Like this, for instance, this kingfisher has got a prey. It's a cricket in the mouth. Normally, you pause first before you start to, they wouldn't eat the prey live. They will hit the prey against the branch. They pound, pound, pound. Then when the prey is done or is dead, then only they will swallow. So, but then while we're doing that, there will be a moment where they will pause, right? That's where you take the shot when they pause. Now, as I say, you have to maybe squat to take the shot. This bird was actually above ground. Then nearby there's a drain. So to get this shot is actually level to the bird. I actually went down to the drain. Or some people would like to spread themselves on the ground to take the shot. But for me, I went down to the drain. Of course, the drain is dry. There's no water in it. And I took the shot. So yeah, you can get in the position. So if you're, as I say again, if you're shooting with maybe with a tripod, you will hinder your movement. But you should handheld like me. I'm shooting all my photos handheld. There's no tripod involved. So you're able to move and able to get the shot that you want. So for this one, I moved down to the drain to get a level shot. This is a blue-winged pitta that recently was popular in Taman Ta Ampang. It came, I think, from India, if I'm not mistaken. It's a migratory bird, right? This is another one.
Richard?
Yep.
There's a question someone asked.
Yeah.
Hi, Richard. May I know which hour is your preferable time to capture birds for good lighting?
Okay, normally I will try to capture the bird early in the morning, 7, 8, maybe 9. Then in the afternoon, 4, 5, 6, that'll be the most preferred time where the lighting is soft. But you can capture it throughout the whole day. By midday, the sun is very harsh. So you have to control your lighting a lot. I've done that before. I captured a bird, the common flameback in Bukit Kiara, 12 o'clock midday. Very harsh. I have to bring down my ISO to 64, and I even underexpose it 1.3. Normally, I don't do that. My exposure composition normally is minus 0.3 or plus 0.3 or 0. So that is but that one I have to underexpose 1.3 using ISO 64. And I think I warm up the shutter speed also to lower down the light. But even then, the highlight on the wings was blown. It was a very small part that was blown, but that can't be helped, right? So you were shooting so the best time is still early in the morning, 7, 8, 9. That good lighting, or for 4, 5, or 6 in the evening. These are the best time. The light is diffuse. Hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. All right. Yeah. This bird is called the pygmy cutwing. Pygmy cutwing. If all birders will know, this particular bird is actually in Fraser Hill. We nickname it Speedy Gonzales. It's hyperactive, super fast. It just run and speed across. But as I say, there are moments where the bird will stop. And as I say, the less so important. This bird is normally on the ground, right, rushing very fast. Pop, it comes and then it goes away. There was this moment that it actually came on top of a tree branch, and it paused there for a while, and it was calling. You can see the big also, it was calling. And so I took a shot here with a very low shutter at 1015. Even if it's a very hyperactive bird, we are able to get it at 1015, the shutter speed. There'll be a moment, so you're able to catch it. And there is reason I'm able to catch it is because even though it's very close, I think it's not more than 6 feet away, right? And it's because I'm shooting the very close focusing lens, which Olympus allows us 1.314 meter. So I'm able to shoot it. If you're shooting with a lens, I think with the Canon or Nikon, 600 mm or 800 mm, their closer focus distance I think is 4 meter, 5 meter, 6 meter. You won't get the shot. Yeah, you miss it because it's just too near, right? This is another one is the pintail parrotfinch. It was also captured in Fraser Hill. Again, this bird is always jumping about. Yes, and you notice this here. These are actually the bamboo flowers. They actually came here to feed on the bamboo flowers. Yeah, the seed that's in the flower. Again, wait for the moment, capture it. Although they are jumping about, all right. Yep.
Hi, Richard.
Yep.
Okay. Through your experience, if let's say how to do a setting for like third blind moment.
Third blind movement. Okay, third blind movement. You basically you need the shutter priority. Basically, I shoot all my photos in aperture priority. And for a bird in flight, you need to shoot in shutter priority, right? You need to get the shutter speed. The minimum shutter speed I would suggest is 1/2500. Preferable, you can go 1/3200 or 1/4000, right? And then you set your ISO to auto. The aperture will of course try to be wide open, so that you give you the speed that you want. But then again, when you're in a jungle, right, in the forest, it's very difficult to shoot bird in flight, right? Because it's so dark. Yeah, it's so dark. Even in the ISO 6000 or 10,000, well, you or 12,000, you can get a shot, yeah, but you won't get quality image, yeah, because it'll be so noisy, yeah, the and it'll be so dark. After even your post processing, yeah, you may get reasonable good, but for me, I prefer image quality, so I won't do beef in the forest. Beef in the open space, yes. In open space, normally the sunlights are quite bright. So yeah, at the sea, at open spape, when the bird are in the sky, that is very good for bird in flight. That's where you put it at 1,250, 1,200 and 500, 2,500, 1,000, 3,200 or 4,000, depending on the size of the bird. The smaller the bird, the faster you have to have the shutter speed to catch them because they are very fast. If the bigger the bird, normally like raptor, they're slower, they're more of gliding. Then 2,500 is okay. Even 2,000 is okay. Sometimes even 640 or 1/800 is good enough to capture them, right? So you look at the very big bird, how far they're away. If they are very far away, yeah, lower shutter speed is possible. When they're very near, very near to you, then you need to have a very high shutter speed, right? So 1,000, 1/4000, or 1/5000, it will be required, right? So yeah, when you do beef, shoot shutter priority. When you do bird and perch, I will suggest you to shoot on aperture priority, right? In my camera setting, I set it for C1. I have C1 to C4, right? I set C1 for my single shot, single autofocus, right? When the bird is very difficult to find, even the bird tracking cannot find, then I will use a single autofocus to focus on the bird. C2 is now my general shooting. Most of the time, 90% of the time, I'm using C2. Is aperture mode with the bird tracking, the autofocus. Then C3 is where I set it to shutter priority. And my setting is that my minimum, I put it as 1/2500. And then I have auto ISO. And of course, the aperture will be wide open, depending on the lens, whether I'm shooting with multiplier or not. Okay, hope that helps.
All right, thanks for advice.
Most welcome. All right, this is another bird. It's called a savanna nightjar. Now, when I say when you approach the bird, you don't approach directly, right? So you will frighten the bird. Now, this bird, I saw it from quite distant, and then I approach it. And it was very difficult for me to approach sideways because there were a lot of trees, a lot of bushes. When I move sideways, I will ruffle the bushes, then you will even frighten the bird. So I approach head on, but I do it very slowly. I inch myself, inch by inch by inch. I stop, I inch, I stop, I inch, I stop, right? And ultimately, I got a very close shot of this bird. And when I look through the camera, all right, although the bird did not fly away, the bird is frightened. You notice, you see here, see all here are very clear. Even here is very clear, but here is blur. The bird's actually breathing very hard. I can see that the chest was pumping, was breathing very hard. It's actually frightened. So the moment I saw that, right, I back away, right? I back away, so that I can still continue to take the photo, right? So the reason I showed this photo is because I show that there's micro movement. The bird was breathing, breathing quite fast, right? They say your mouth is open. Actually, it's frightened. Although it didn't fly away, it's frightened. Maybe because I was there for quite some time already, so I approached it very close to in front. But then, yeah, the bird, I can see the bird was frightened, so I back away, right? So as I said, try not to approach head on if you can, unless the bird has got very friendly with you or accustomed to your presence, and then you can approach. Otherwise, go sideways to get the angle. Unfortunately for this one, I moved it because all surrounding is bush. If I move sideways, the bushes will shake about, and then the bird will just fly away. So yeah, take the shot and then move away. So to let the bird feel stress up. Okay. Okay. Sometimes you cannot approach the bird close. They are very far, and especially when they are very skittish. This is a Siberian stonechat from Siberia. This bird is super skittish. You just cannot get close, right? If you can get close, that will be very fortunate, and it will be a very good shot, right? So when you cannot get close, you can do what you call a bird skate, right? And notice that this particular shot I'm shooting at 1/800. Seldom I go very high shutter speed. It's because this branch here is very flimsy. And at the time when I took this, it was actually quite a strong wind. So the birds were actually like rocking. Yeah. So I was still able to locate the eye. The time I'm still shooting with the 3mm, I locate the eye, the single autofocus. And I need to bump up, although it's quite bright, bump the ISO, and so that I have the speed to capture it and freeze the bird, right? So yeah, depending on the situation. So you can see the bird is moving, then low shutter speed is not possible, which normally what I'm shooting very low shutter speed. So then you have to bump up. You have no choice, right? This is another one. This is a pipe bush chat. Again, my shutter speed is a bit up, but not so much because it was fairly the wind was fairly okay. It's the same spot, but the different place. So okay, then I able to bring it down to lower. So because the lower the shutter, the cleaner the photo. Okay. This is another one. Again, I pump out the ISO. And then I pump the speed, although it's very bright, okay, the shutter speed has gone quite high because this is the open space, right? All grassland open space. So you can see when I was there, you can see the branch was still moving. So I have no choice but to go the high shutter speed, right, to capture this one. I captured this from the window of my car. I was driving by. I saw the bird, right? Then I went out the window. I captured it. So yeah, something you can get close. You just can just do what I call a bird skate, right? Now in post editing, why I say post editing is very important because bird photography, most of the time you cannot get the bird in the perfect frame most of the time, because they give you a very small window to capture it. So you try to frame it as much as you can, right? Put it in a frame, observe the I call the rule of thirds as much as you can. Then you capture it, but it's still not perfect, right? Well, sometimes you have to move to different angle. You know, when different angle affords you only a certain window, so the bird may not be able to fit into the rule of thirds. So that's where post editing comes in to crop it back into to follow the rules as much as possible. Sometimes you can break the rules. Okay, most of the time there are certain photos that you can break the rules. Right, so try to observe it. The third post editing is very important. And then the other thing is that because most of the time it's not like a portrait photography or landscape where you can take your time to play with your setting to get the perfect exposure. For the bird photography, as I say, the window is very limited to capture the shot. You always have the base setting, which is actually you're very comfortable with. You know that your camera is able to handle very well. So have the base setting set. Right? You can see most of my photo, my base ISO is always 1600. I know my camera handle that very well. Right? And wide open, and my shutter speed about 1/20, 1/30, I've never gone beyond 1/80, right? Very seldom. So that's my base setting. But even with that base setting, sometimes you cannot capture the bird in the perfect exposure. That's where you need to come back to post process, right? To bring back the details, bring back the exposure, bring back the highlight, bring back the shadow. So this how you do. Now in my workflow, I use the PhotoLab DxO version 4 currently now. They have got a noise removing program deep inside there. It's called Deep Prime. It actually helps a lot. It removes the noise without destroying the details, right? So I use that as my raw to process when I process my raw. The only thing I do in the DxO Photo Lab is to correct my exposure. Either bring it down or bring up, depending on how I want the look to be. Right? And then I try to control the highlight, and then try to bring back the shadow. So basically, that's what DxO does for me. Of course, the Deep Prime will help me to remove the noise. My photos are quite clean, although there are still noise, but it is still quite clean, right? So, but then DxO have to remove the noise, right? Then I will convert it to DNG from my Olympus raw file in the DxO Photo Lab. I convert to DNG. Then I bring it into Photoshop. Now the other thing is never edit your photo in JPEG, or if you're shooting bird photography, never shoot in JPEG, because when you shoot in JPEG only without the raw, the photos are actually compressed, right? So even though if you get the lighting almost quite there, but it's not what you want. When you bring it into Photoshop to edit, you actually have very little room to move, right? So try to shoot in RAW, and then convert it and bring it to Photoshop. And when you bring it to Photoshop, right? They say next one here, I say always edit in 16-bit, and use the Adobe 1998 color space. Not color profile, okay? It's the color space. The difference between color profile and color space is that the color profile will help you to translate your colors in the photo to print. As color space is the one that determines the amount of colors in your photo. So that's quite a big difference. All right. So when I bring it to Photoshop, the first thing I do, I will try to crop it to what I want. In the sense that I will crop away things that are distracting from the bird. Well, my main subject is the bird. Crop things that they're distracting. So it's either landscape crop or the portrait crop, depending on what I want to emphasize on, right? And then after the cropping, I will run the noise, topaz noise one more time. Personally, I don't like noise. There are some people who like us, depending on how your eyes see it. Personally, I don't like. So I run another round of topaz denoise. Again, I just run it as auto. Let the program decide. I don't do much about it, and then bring it back. So once I run at denoise, the photo is slightly cleaner. Then I will run it in Lumina. In Lumina, there's not much thing done. Actually, although you see there's a lot of software used, actually there's nothing much done. All right. Excuse me. Now in Lumina, there's a basic enhancement on the color, very basic enhancement, probably 2%, 5%. That's all. And then I will add vignette. Excuse me. I will add a very slight vignette to the bird, the photo in general. So it looks a bit more focused on the bird, so lighting no focus on the bird. So that's all I do. That's my workflow. Then after you save it, when you save it in JPEG, and then of course in the sRGB profile. Now why I say actually,
Richard. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
It's okay. You can have a drinks along the sharing. It's okay.
Okay.
If you need a rest, then we can come back later.
That's all right.
So we can announce the photo contest result first if you need a rest.
Okay. I'm finishing already.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
okay,
in the final, after editing in the final, you export it in JPEG or TIFF if you want to, using the sRGB profile. You notice that I say edit in Adobe 198 color space, because that gives you the widest color space. Of course, the other color space that is wider is Pro Photo. But Pro Photo, it comes in 32-bit. So if you don't have 32-bit, it's a waste, and it's a waste of resources and the memory. So Adobe 198 is good enough color space, but when you export or when you save it in sRGB. The reason why I'm saying this because most of the web, the internet, they're able to interpret the sRGB better. It's designed for sRGB. Most of display, even the TVs or monitors, towards sRGB. So you can save in that profile so that you can interpret. If you want to print, they can interpret the print correctly to the printer. If you save it at Adobe color profile, when you go to print, you will have a slight problem. Especially when the printer uses CMYK, all right, the print will get a bit down. The color may not be accurate. But sRGB profile, the color is accurate. The print will be bright. You won't be down, so you can interpret better. So remember that. So don't edit in JPEG. Edit in RAW. Also edit in 16-bit. Now, the reason why I say it is 16-bit is because it gives you a lot of data depth. When we edit, right, you see, a photo is actually called a flat. It's not analog. When you paint, that is a paper. You paint, you add ink, you add red, you add blue, you add green. It's just adding on. But in digital file, the file is flat. That's all the data. When you say you want it to be brighter, you want it brighter red, brighter blue, you are not going to add, because there's no way to add. It's already digital, it's already flat, already fixed. What you can do when you say you're adding red or adding blue, In actual fact, the computer actually is removing blue. You say one more red, right? Remove blue, remove green, so that the red stands out, right? So you're actually taking away data. So if you shoot it only in JPEG, which is already flattened to 8-bit, it's already flat. JPEG is actually a compression from your original file. It's 10%, right? 90% of the data most of the time is thrown away. So you only have 10% of data. So if you edit on the 10%, you get even flatter. Your file will get a lot of mosaic. The more time you save a few times in JPEG, you get a mosaic, pixelated. So remember, edit in RAW, edit in 16-bit. It gives you a lot of headroom to bring it down, so that you still have good quality photo. Okay. So again, observe the rule of thirds. Yeah. That is my basic suggestion for you to edit your photo. Right? So I think that is all that I have. Yeah, I think that's all I have. Yeah.
Thank you, Richard, for your sharing. Before you leave, let us check whether we have a question.
Okay, sure.
Any question from others participants inside this Zoom meeting? Oh, we have a new question coming in from Garford. He's asking, is the camera still in production or any new model, maybe a replacement model?
Okay, the current camera, the one I'm using is the Olympus EM1X. It's still in production. There's a rumor that there's a new camera will be launched early next year, and I suspect it to be the Mark II of the EM1X, because the CEO of the GIP announced that the camera will have a wow factor, and you will take advantage of the new lens, the 150 400 mm. So I will say the only camera that can take advantage of that lens will be the EM1X. So I would reckon it should be the EM1X Mark II. Coming out, I think January, February. I think that will be the new camera. But the current one that I'm using is still in production. EM1X. I also have the EM1 Mark III and the yeah, that's a EM1 Mark III as well.
Okay, I think that should answer the question. We have a lot of compliment comments from the audience, like Kenny Fung, Richard, very good sharing, editing, printing, knowledge. And Muhammad Asman say like your post-processing sharing.
Right.
Oh yeah, one question from me. Let's say after we shoot the photo, then we set to JPEG and PNG. What is your recommendation on preparing the photo for printing?
If
do we just set to sRGB or Adobe RGB, or it must be 16-bit or 8-bit?
Most of the time, coming out from the camera is already, if it's JPEG, it's already 8-bit. Most of the time, you won't get 14-bit or 12-bit. For my Olympus camera, the RAW is actually 14-bit. For 14-bit, right? For JPEG coming out from the camera is it's already 8-bit. I checked all the settings. I'm not too sure about other cameras, but I think for Olympus, coming from the JPEG, is straight away is 8-bit. So for 8-bit, you are very much limited, unless you can shoot it perfect in camera, which I think most often time we don't. All right, and then even a shoot only JPEG, I would suggest you set the color, the color profile inside the camera to Adobe, right? Adobe, then you bring it to Photoshop, then you do basic things that you want to do, and accept it back by in this time round in sRGB. That will give you the best printing, because if you try to save it back in Adobe profile, not color space, profile, then as I mentioned earlier, you will probably get a very dull photo. The color, there will be a color shift. the color shift on certain colors. Yeah, you cannot represent very well because most printer outside there's no RGB printer. The printer outside is all CMYK. I myself is a printer, so I know. Yeah, so if it cannot interpret the Adobe profile properly, right? So yeah, that's my take. Unless there's someone else who can able to print with the Adobe profile correctly, okay, that would be interesting for me to know.
Okay, thank you, Richard.
Right, thank you, Richard. I see another question. Someone's asking, do you shoot handheld with slow shutter speed, or you use a like tripod or monopod or something?
No, I don't use tripod or monopod. All my shots are taken handheld. It's because the system, the camera system that I'm using, the Olympus system, the camera body has got a 5-stop stabilization, and then the lens has got 7.5 stop, 2.5 stop. So combined together, my camera are able to go up to 7.5 stop based on the lowest focal length, means 150 mm, it's a 7.5 stop. But when it fully extended to the 400 mm, 500 or even 1000, the stop is 7 stop. With the 7 stop stabilization, actually it helps a lot. Yeah, I able to shoot a very low shutter speed at I think you see some photos. One of the lowest is like 1/13, right? 1/13 is very low. Yeah, as I said, wait for the shot, time it, and then take the shot. Yeah, so no tripod, no monopod. Yeah, all handheld.
All right, thank you, Richard. And last question, do you use flash in dark lighting conditions, and are there any ethics on bird photography that we should know about?
Okay, in ethics, right, there definitely we don't encourage flash. Most of the birders will not encourage flash, but it's debatable. There's some who use, there's some who don't. Some people will raise when those who do, right, they raise, okay, what about when you do night photography for bird shooting out, for that instance, right? They use floodlight, they use flash to torchlight to shine the top. It's also equally damaging to the eye of the bird because they're nocturnal bird. They see very well in the dark. So suddenly the light shine to the eyes. Don't you think you damage the bird? So these are the arguments they bring out. So for me, I personally don't shoot with flash lighting, even in the forest. So I use my exposure to control my ISO and my shutter speed to control how much light I can allow to come in. As I say, try to control the histogram, the left and the right. Do not let it clip. So yeah, that's how I did. And then the other ethics is when you follow a group of people to shoot, right? The group of friends. Depending on the friends, some friends they like to talk a lot. They like to make a lot of noise. Then we are fine, all right. And you talk. But there are some friends who just want absolute silence, quietness, no talking. Then you observe. So it depends on the group of friends that you go with. The other thing is if you reach a certain place to shoot, and there are already birders there, right? So they, especially when they're shooting with tripods and things like. I think it's that you wait for your turn. If you don't have an angle, you don't have a spot, you wait for a turn, right? You don't go in front of them. You don't try to muscle your way in. So that will be bad. So that's the few ethics you have to observe. The other thing is sometimes we play bird call to when we hear the bird, we know it's around, but we cannot see. We try to play a bird call to call it out, to lure the bird out. There's some who don't like, but they say can play, but don't play continually because you stress the bird out. So again, when you play a bird call, you have to be, ethical, not to play out throughout the 1 hour, right? You can play like maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, stop, then wait, so that you don't stress them. Because when the bird responds to call, sometimes they can feel threatened. It can be a territorial bird. Tether bird, so they feel maybe there's a call of another bird, they feel threatened or they may call to escape, right? So yeah, play the call with what I say, the attention to the time, to the length of it. Do not play too long. Don't play 1 hour, half an hour, things like that. 1 minute, 2 minutes, stop. I think just wait for the bird to come.
All right, thank you, Richard, for the answer.
Okay.
And so far, I see no other questions on FB already. So I think this will be the end of Richard sharing today. Richard, do you have anything to add on?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you,
So-
Richard. Hopefully, in the future,
Yeah.
when we have a physical meeting, we can invite you to do a sharing again.
Yeah, thank you very much for the privilege to come on board to share. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, hope to see you around.
Yeah, sure.
So after MCR, maybe you can organize a trip to shoot the bird.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Right now, we shall proceed to our next session, which is the monthly photo contest for Pspj. So for June 2021, we have two teams. The first team is macro photography, and the second team is confectionery. All right, so let's look at the shortlisted photos. We have photos from Alex Liu Yang Xiong, William Yap, Cindy Chia, and Kenny Fong. These are very interesting pictures we have here. And we have Muhammad Aziman, Yok Moy, PC Lu, William Yap, and yeah, Yok Moy. Okay. For the second team, we have which is confectionery. We have Alex Liu Yang Xiong, Cho Liang Yong, William Yap, PC Lu, Muhammad Aziman. And then next we have Kenny Fong, Cindy Chia, and Yok Moy. Right. These are very interesting shots we have here. And the winning photo for our first team, macro photography, goes to William Yap. So congratulations, William, for the best photo. All right. And next, the second team, confectionery, the winner goes to Cho Liang Yong. So congratulations, Cho Liang Yong. And here we congratulate all those photographers, which all our members, which their photos were shortlisted. They are very nice also. I heard that the judges had a very tough time choosing. So yeah. Once again, congratulations to Cho Liang Yong and William Yap. So yes.
So William Yap and Cho Liang Yong, please contact our treasurers for further arrangement to your for your prize. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
So yeah, we just a short highlights. For those audience, or if you would like to join PSPJ, please visit this website. We have a link inside for you to register as a PSPJ member, and hopefully in the future you can join us for the outings and the workshop as well. That's it. Edmund.
Okay. All right. Does any other committees have anything to add on to today's meeting? All right. So if there's nothing, we shall end our meeting today. And thank you once again. Thank you very much to Gong Zi and also Mr. Richard Chong for your sharings. Those are very wonderful sharings, and we congratulate all those members who participated in our monthly photo contest, and to the winners. Right. Thank you very much, and see you next month. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.